Right now, a barn fire in Fitchburg leaves several horses dead, what we know so far. Also, a Montana man is looking to have 50 dates in 50 states, and he's made his way to Wisconsin. We'll take you to see this quest of love. And one Wisconsin town could face the harsh reality of not having protection as its entire police force quit. We take you to Arcadia, Wisconsin. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 5:30. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Multiple agencies respond to a barn fire in Fitchburg Sunday morning. Crews were dispatched at just before 4:40 a.m. to the 2500 block of Richardson Street. Fire crews confirmed flames and smoke showing from a 50 by 25 pole barn. The fire was successfully contained to the barn with all surrounding properties protected from damage. Unfortunately, 4 horses who were in the barn died as a result of the fire. No other injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation by Fitchburg fire investigators. However, no suspicious activity or foul play is suspected. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who joins us live on Madison's west side. Blaze, another beautiful day here in southern Wisconsin.
It really has been a beautiful day. It's Mother's Day, obviously, and what a treat. Mother Nature gave us nothing but sunshine and warm temperatures to celebrate and appreciate Mom. Mid to upper 70s, low 80s, stretching from Camp Douglas south along the Wisconsin River into Prairie du Chien. It's 81 in La Crosse, 63 in Milwaukee, 70 in Waukesha, 77 in Janesville, as well as in Verona, Middleton, Cross Plains, and Mount Horeb. So it is a great afternoon, low humidity, but warm temperatures. That's what's the key there, is the low humidity. Tonight, we're going to hang out in the upper 40s to low 50s because we got to get to the 80s for your Monday. We're also looking at the chance for rain to return starting later Monday night into Tuesday, but we're still eyeing that chance for maybe some severe weather later Thursday afternoon into Friday of next week. We've got the latest on that alert day in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. Enjoy that weather for me, all right?
I will.
All right, thank you. And to keep up with that alert day and our other weather, you can track the forecast yourself on the First One weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. One person is displaced following a cooking fire on Madison's west side Saturday night. Fire crews were dispatched to the 7000 block of Flower Lane just around 6:20 p.m. for reports of a building on fire. Crews arrived and reported smoke showing from an 8-unit apartment building. Upon entering the apartment, firefighters encountered a heavy black smoke and flames rolling across the ceiling. They were able to bring the fire under control just before 6:30. The blaze was successfully contained in the kitchen area. The lone occupant of the apartment escaped without injury, and the fire was caused by unattended cooking, resulted with an estimated damage of $30,000. A Broadhead man was arrested Friday for operating while intoxicated after his vehicle was reportedly found in a ditch in the town of Avon. A Rock County Sheriff's Office deputy responded to the intersection of West Highway 81 and S County TKT just before 4:40 p.m., where the man was allegedly found slumped over in the driver's seat. A 35-year-old man was arrested for his felony of 4th offense OWI and was taken to the Rock County Jail. A man from Montana has become an internet sensation with his goal to date 50 different women from 50 states. Matthew Waring traveled to Wisconsin on Friday, and he had a date with Quick Trip employee Samantha Benish. She is from La Crosse. The two of them visited the world's largest six-pack and the Grandad Bluff. They then had a dinner and ice cream. Waring says he prefers it when his dates do most of the planning. He has more than 700,000 followers on social media. He's also appeared on a number of talk shows and had articles written about his venture of love. Residents of Arcadia, Wisconsin are facing an interesting dilemma. All of their police officers have quit. Kim Leadholm leads us into the response and the calls in the meantime.
Law enforcement follow the motto protect and serve. But what if no one is there to serve? That's what it's looking like in Arcadia.
In recent weeks, the police officers down there have all left that agency for other opportunities that are going on, leaving them without any police officers except for an interim police chief.
And the main question we've been trying to ask is why? We haven't really gotten a clear answer, but no, some took new jobs in and outside of the field.
It's not just unique to Arcadia. A lot of smaller agencies or law enforcement in general across the board are struggling to keep their employees or find new employees.
But what is unique to Arcadia is that so many left at similar times. The mayor telling us in a statement in part, many departments face staffing shortages or other issues. Ours just happened all at once. Our situation in Arcadia is unique in that our former officers moved on to new careers in a relatively short time frame, which has presented us with both a challenge and an opportunity. That opportunity, the mayor says, is to build a new department from the ground up. But while that happens, calls for help fall on the sheriff's office.
It puts a lot of strain on my deputies because of the additional calls they're taking, plus the normal routine that they handle here in the county.
Now, the sheriff's office is here in Whitehall, and that's where some challenges come in. Because the sheriff's office still has to respond to those calls in Arcadia, and depending on where deputies are in the county, it can take up to 20 to 30 minutes.
Some of these calls are going to be serious within the city of Arcadia and require rapid response times. And as a sheriff's office with the same staffing going on, we're going to have longer response times to get to those emergencies.
But whether it takes 5 minutes or 30, the sheriff's office says they will be there when they can, ready to continue to protect and serve.
Coming up next on News 3 Now, officials between the U.S. and China meet in Geneva to discuss the ongoing trade war, details regarding their trade talks, plus how the current tariffs are impacting flower sales this Mother's Day. That and more after the break.
Watching News 3 Now at 5:30.
Thank you for staying with us. The Qatari royal family is giving President Trump a Boeing 747 luxury jet. Trump is reportedly set to receive the plane, which is expected to be retrofitted and used as Air Force One in about 2 years. A Qatari official said the plane is technically being gifted from the Qatari Ministry of Defense to the Pentagon. The official described the move as more of a government-to-government transaction instead of a personal one. Trump and his aides toured the plane last February in Palm Beach, seen here. Since the tour, Trump has boasted to people around him about how luxurious the plane was. An official announcement about the plane is expected within a matter of days. Trump embarks on his first major foreign trip on Monday, which includes a stop in Doha, Qatar. President Trump expressed doubt Sunday that Ukraine and Russia will reach a ceasefire deal and is encouraging the two nations to meet in Turkey this week. This comes as the president prepares again for his first major trip to the Middle East. CBS News' Willie James Inman has more.
Mr. Secretary, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described day 2 of the trade talks between the United States and China as productive and said more details will be released Monday. The weekend talks in Switzerland mark the first significant discussions between the two nations since President Trump imposed a minimum tariff of 145% on Chinese goods, and China responded with its own tariff hikes. In other international news, President Trump expressed doubt Sunday on Truth Social that Ukraine will reach a ceasefire deal with Russia, noting President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday in Turkey to negotiate a possible end to the bloodbath. The president's post comes just 2 weeks after he sat down with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Vatican to discuss the war. On Sunday, Zelensky responded cautiously to Russia's offer of direct talks, calling it a positive sign, but insisting that Putin must agree to an immediate ceasefire first. And in domestic news, state governors are weighing in on the deportation debate. On Sunday's Face the Nation, the governor of New Mexico expressed concern over what she called a lack of due process when it comes to deportations.
My bigger issue is indiscriminate ICE raids and sweeps, sowing fear in communities and with businesses all across the country, and that includes many communities right here in New Mexico.
All of this comes as President Trump prepares to visit the Middle East this week. He heads to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, where he's expected to discuss the war in Gaza and fighting in Yemen. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
This marks the president's second foreign trip of his new administration. In addition to discussing peace in the Middle East, President Trump is expected to engage in oil talks this week. Chipotle is planning on expanding its footprint both here in the U.S. and in Canada. The Mexican grill restaurant says it's opening more than 300 locations this year. 15 to 20 of those stores will be opened in Canada. 80% of the stores will include drive-thrus and Chipotle lanes for digital orders. Chipotle says 57 company-owned restaurants have already opened during the first quarter of 2025. In its fourth quarter earnings, the company reported a total revenue of more than $11 billion in 2024, an increase of almost 15% from the year before. Not even Mother's Day remains unaffected by the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs. This year, the cost of imported flowers is skyrocketing and demand has taken a hit, not just because of higher prices, but because of the fear of a larger economic downturn. Julia Vargas-Jones has more.
I'm in the largest flower district in the United States here in Los Angeles, where we are seeing prices of flowers be almost double where they were last year for Mother's Day. That's in part because about 80% of the flowers that are sold in the United States come from overseas. Over here is no exception. Colombia is the top importing country where we get our flowers. 60% of the flowers sold here come from Colombia, and that is a country that has been slapped with a 10% tariff across the board by the Trump administration. Of course, 10% doesn't quite account for a double price, right? So what some of the vendors here are saying is that the tariffs themselves, yes, they're one factor, but then there's the uncertainty about these tariffs, kind of a secondary effect of them, where business owners can't really plan accordingly, even for the largest day of the year for them. Take a listen. Are you hoping that these tariffs will eventually go away?
I think we all are. Yeah, I think we all are, because this country consumes a lot of import goods, and that's definitely something that is part of our daily life. Yes.
How much are they hurting your business?
There is a percentage, because now people doesn't get prepared as they used to. They kind of wait for the movement flow, and then everybody's kind of like last minute.
And it's not just the flower themselves, it's the materials, the packaging, the teddy bears, all of that that's also coming from overseas. But it has not stopped shoppers from coming here and spending their money, which is good for the economy and also for moms everywhere.
Coming up next on News 3 Now at 5:30, Blaze Keller returns live in studio for a complete look of your First One forecast.
It's going to be a very nice start to the next work week. We're going to continue to warm on up as temperatures are more or less going to be in the low to mid 80s on Monday, with the light southeasterly winds still sticking around parts of the Midwest, including Wisconsin. As the southerly winds begin to take on over, we're going to add more moisture into the atmosphere. We'll add a couple more rain chances as we go into next week, looking at Tuesday through possibly the following weekend for at least a daily hit or miss chance for showers and thunderstorms. But we have a more widespread chance and a better organized system moving through the Midwest as we go Thursday into Friday. So we're going to continue to see that possibility for severe weather Thursday into Friday. That's our next alert day. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But Future Track keeps us quiet throughout all of Monday until the evening. That's when some clouds start to move in out of the south and east, along with some hit or miss rain showers. Again, not everyone is seeing the rain shower activity as we go overnight into Tuesday, very hit or miss, and that will continue as we go into Tuesday as well. A low pressure system is falling apart, and so we're essentially raining it out. So not everyone is going to see that widespread rain activity on Tuesday underneath partly sunny conditions. We will be a little bit cooler Tuesday and Wednesday because we'll have more cloud cover over parts of Wisconsin. Then we jump ahead to Thursday. We're still underneath a 15% severe weather outlook. This is now 5 days out. Severe weather outlooks can be somewhat treated like a severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watch. We're continuing to watch in our model data the chance for severe weather. We're getting a clear picture as to what may be taking place across parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, as well as Illinois Thursday night into Friday. We're seeing that there's going to be moisture. There's going to be a little bit of instability, to say the least, and we could have a stronger low pressure system move through parts of the Midwest with its warm front front extending its way southwards. This is going to be what will force these showers and thunderstorms to develop as we go Thursday, mid to late afternoon, overnight into Friday. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center is saying that all severe weather threats are possible. That includes large hail as well as isolated tornadoes, but they also are including strong damaging winds, as this could become more of a linear type storm system. So we're going to continue to watch this. Again, this is just letting you know at home to prepare for potentially severe weather Thursday into Friday. In the coming days, we're going to get an even better picture as to what we can expect here across Wisconsin. As we go into next weekend, after hanging out in the 70s and 80s this week, we'll be into the 60s and maybe even dipping into the upper 50s by the middle of the following work week, as temperatures look to be warmer than average, and then starting Saturday onwards will be cooler than average. And that cooler than average trend looks to continue through maybe the end of May. So enjoy the 80s while they're here. Now, cooler than average can be by a degree, can be by several degrees. So if you're not a fan of cooler temperatures, enjoy the 80s tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then break out maybe the sweatshirts, because we will be a little bit on the cooler side as we go Saturday through the middle of that following work week.
I mean, do we really have to break out the sweatshirts?
You can. I am not your parent. You can do whatever you want. You can wear shorts in the middle of winter. Huh?
We're northerners. 49 degrees is...
I'm just saying, compared to the 80s, upper 50s might be a little bit on the chillier side.
That's fair. That's fair. Depending on your age.
Yeah.
You may feel...
And if you prefer warm over colder air.
Right. Fair enough. Well, what do we have coming up in sports, Andrew?
Yes, some big news. Portis, why does the mayor of Milwaukee, Bobby Portis, feel like he might be impeached by the Bucks? More on the Bucks forward's future next in sports. For all of the perceived marketing problems that Major League Baseball may have, they certainly know how to celebrate a holiday. Players, of course, were decked from head to toe in pink today, and Christian Yelich was using a pink bat with his mom's name engraved into it. And in the top of the fourth, he used it to put one over the fence. A solo shot courtesy of Alicia, his mother, ties things up at one apiece. And later in the frame, William Contreras wishes his mom a happy day with a blast of his own, giving the Brewers a 2-1 lead. And in the eighth, the Crew leading 3-2, and Rhys Hoskins hits one through the left side of the infield, ensuring a win for mothers all across the state as the Crew avoid getting swept and take the finale 4-2. To the golf links, where Sepp Straka finished off a sensational weekend, winning the Truist Championship. The Austrian native shot 16 under at the signature event and becomes one of 2 players on the tour this year to win multiple events. And we are just 3 days away from the NFL releasing next year's schedule. Be sure to tune in to News 3 Now this Wednesday, the 14th, when we will have instant reaction and analysis of the Packers' 2026 slate. This past year has been a tough one for Bobby Portis. His home was burglarized, he was suspended for 25 games, and then his Bucks got bounced again in the first round. And despite all of that, a change of scenery isn't exactly what the mayor of Milwaukee is looking for. He has a player option that he says he wants to sign to stay with the team this next season, but adds the team might not necessarily want him back.
If you're looking at business-wise, like how do someone that's a GM of the team look at the team losing 3 straight years in the first round? So it all depends on how everything shakes up. I would love to be in Milwaukee. I love it here. You know, they call me the mayor here, right? So it's kind of hard to leave a city where you're the mayor. But, you know, obviously it's going to be up in the air with how they maneuver the roster, whatever they want to bring back. It's really going to be all on the organization.
And we will be right back.
And we would be remiss if we didn't wish you all a happy Mother's Day. If you just pay attention there, you see myself with my mom, Blaze with his, Andrew with his, and just on behalf of News 3, we'd like to wish you all a happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Hopefully all the moms across Wisconsin felt appreciated, felt loved.
Absolutely.
Plenty of sunshine.
What was the animal in the background of the picture of you and your mom?
Have you never seen a deer before?
It was far away.
From this angle, I literally thought it was a giraffe. I'm going to be honest with you.
I thought it was like a camel.
No, there's a little village in Japan called Nara, and deer just roam around freely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giraffe deer?
No, they're like
Camel
much
deer.
smaller than our
Got
deer.
it. Camel deer.
And
Camel deer, yeah.
they bow when you feed them.
Huh. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Quick check before we head on out.
Quiet tomorrow, 80s, and then rain chances return Tuesday through the upcoming weekend.